men's single isn't just a long rally. It is a repeated high intensity efforts, and then you rest, and then you repeat it again until the game finish. If your conditioning or training program just consists of you running until you get tired, then you are building an amazing engine but for the wrong sport. That might be good for marathoners or long distance runners, but that's not suitable for elite men's single. Today, let's look at BWF World Championship in 2018, and let's look at the data and what can we learn from it. Here's the thing, I hope by the end of the video we can learn about the work-rest ratio of elite men's single, and then we can learn about the shot and the rally volume, and finally what are the main takeaways that we can learn from this. I have this paper with me and I highly recommend you guys to read it. I think it's an amazing paper, and they analyze all 5 events in badminton. Their data is from BWF World Championship in 2018, so it's a high quality paper and with high quality players as well. The title is called Match Characteristics of Women's and Men's Single and Doubles Events in Elite Badminton by Daniel Hoffman and colleague. So in this paper, they actually analyze about 273 games. But for the sake of simplicity and the duration of the video, I'm going to focus on only men's single. For the other events, maybe I will cover in a different video. The first one is about match duration. So in this paper, they separate into 2 categories, 2-game matches and 3-game matches. Basically straight set or rubber set. In 2-game matches, the average match duration is about 39 minutes, although it can be anywhere from 31 up to 47 minutes. For rubber set 3-game matches, the average is about 64 minutes, about 1 hour 4 minutes, and then it can be anywhere from 55 minutes all the way up to 73 minutes. Again, this is the data from 2018 in that particular World Championship event. So obviously there are certain events which can be faster than 30 minutes and it can be longer than 73 minutes. I think we all know about this. But on this particular event, then the total points played in 2-game matches in the straight set is about 68 total points played. While for the rubber set 3-game matches is about 106, plus minus of course. Okay, from this data alone, the minimum amount of fitness level that you have to have in order to play at elite badminton level is about 31 minutes. But of course, we do not want to play for the bare minimum. We want to prepare for the worst case scenario, which is more than 73 minutes. But again, if you are a young athlete or aspiring to be professional badminton players, you don't straight away jump into 73 minutes straight away. You build up over time. So maybe you can start with 20 minutes and then 30 minutes, 40, 50 over time, over week. And then the progress might not be linear all the time. You can increase week by week and then reduce or maintain and then push again. It all depends on your body and depends on your coach. So this is where the combination between you and the coach is very important. The coach has to decide, and you have to decide, especially if you do not have a lot of teams around you. You have to decide to make a correct judgment, either to progress or maintain or regress, for you to have the long-term development as an athlete. Okay, let's move on to another statistic. I covered some of this in a different paper, in a different video. But now we look only at 2018 World Championship, okay? So we look at the percentage of real-time play. Real-time play is basically the time where the shuttle in play. This excludes all the rest times. So when we talk about the match duration just now, if you play for 1 hour, you don't really play for 1 hour. Right? If you think you play for 1 hour, then you are mistakenly wrong, because you have to include there is a rest time. There is a time where you have to wipe your sweats, wipe the floor, arguing with the umpire or so on. So the percentage of real-time play in elite badminton men's single is about 26%. But plus minus, let's round it to 30%. So if you look at this data, so for every 30 minutes that elite men's single play, they only play for about 9 minutes. The rest are recovering and so on. Play for 60 minutes, that's about 18 minutes of real-time play. If they play 90 minutes of match, that's only about 27 minutes. And then if they play for about 2 hours, it's only about 36 minutes of real-time play. So for me as a SNC coach, when I look at this data, I know that the minimum amount of the athlete have to go through working rest ratio, the total accumulated time, the minimum they should achieve is about 9 minutes. Of course, it's not concentrated in 1 minute. It can be divided in many blocks to achieve 9 minutes of work. And that's the bare minimum. We can slowly progress over time. And then let's look at the rally and rest time ratio. So the rally on average, okay, we're talking about average, it's about 9.79 seconds. But let's round it to 10 seconds for simplicity. And then for the rest time, it's about 23 seconds. But again, now we have the 25-second clock rule. So let's round it to 25 seconds. So on average, it's about 10 seconds of work, 25 seconds of rest. It can be lower than that, it can be higher than that. So obviously, there are certain rally is longer than 10 seconds. It can be 20, 30, even up to 1 minute. And then there is also a time where you rest longer than the 25-second clock. Maybe you have a medic timeout or wiping sweat from your face. On average, that is the timing structure of elite badminton player in men's single. Look at the shots per game. On average, it's about 362 shots per game. But it can be 262 and it can be all the way up to 462 shots per game. So when we look at shot frequency, it's about 1.08 shot per second. So for every second, there'll be at least 1.08 shot. So okay, let's round it to 1. So every 1 second is 1 shot. So it's quite fast game. It's not a slow, badminton is not a slow sport. So what are the things that we can learn from this paper? I think the first main takeaway is that, yes, the specific work rest ratio structure is about 10 seconds of work with 25 seconds of rest. This is very good, and it's very good to focus on the quality and specificity of elite badminton men's single. But sometimes when we are further away from competition and we want to develop fitness, we want to develop skill, we want more repetition, I think the traditional of work for 3-5 minutes or even 10 minutes of work and a few minutes of rest is still important. I'm not saying that. So that's why when you read this paper, you have to be careful not to straight away jump into conclusion. You have to look at broader picture that sometimes in training, we have to train faster, we have to train longer, more repetition, more volume sometimes. But sometimes we also have to be specific. We want to remove the fatigue, remove the volume, focus on the quality. So I think this is where the coach comes in with their experience, with their knowledge and insight. They have to make decision, because at the end of the day, the coach and the athletes have the decision to make adjustment to their training program. So with this information, data, you have to adapt. You do not have to copy 100% of this data. What you can do is a good coach, a good athlete can learn and absorb their knowledge and apply specifically within their context. If this is not applicable to you, maybe you're still young, you're 7, 8 years old, then you should not apply this context. But if you're a good coach, you should know when to apply in a different situation, in specific context. Talk about from SNC point of view, not from badminton coach point of view. So for SNC coach, we can look at this and we can divide it into 3 modes of training. The first one is short, the second one is medium, and then the third one is long duration. So for the short duration, again, we stick with 10 seconds, and then we focus on the high intensity, but maybe lower the volume. And then the medium is about 20 seconds of work. Maybe we do a moderate volume, moderate intensity. And then finally, the long duration is anywhere from 30 seconds all the way up to 1 minute or more. And we keep it lower intensity but higher volume. Rest time, it can be a 1-to-1 ratio. So let's say you do 10 seconds of work, you can do 10 seconds of rest. But my advice is, if you do high intensity, I highly recommend to give more rest for your athletes. So maybe 10 second on, 20 second rest, or even 30 to 40 second of rest. If you do moderate, I like to give 1-to-1 ratio, 20 second on, 20 second rest. If long duration, it can be 1-to-1 ratio or 1 to 0.5. So let's say you do 30 second of work, you can either 30 second of rest, or you cut that into half, 30 second on and 50 second of rest. This will accumulate a lot of fatigue, a lot of lactic acid, and it's going to feel a lot of burning sensation on your legs and your fitness level. But that is to challenge, to induce fatigue on purpose, to challenge them to make decision during fatigue. Of course, you have to consider your overall training volume. If you already do a lot of badminton training, you might want to cut down on the extra conditioning or endurance session. You have to consider the intensity. Are they on the building up phase or at the peaking phase? And it also depends on the athlete. Some athletes prefer doing it on the bike, some prefer on the treadmill, some prefer on the court. So that's the judgment between you, the athlete, and the coach. In conclusion, we should use this data as a reference and a guide to plan our training. But don't take it literally. We have to adapt according to our situation. And then I hope that we understand and know our current level and how can we progress bit by bit over time. And then whatever you learn from this data and whatever you want to implement, it is better to start light and easy and gradually build it up to higher intensity. I don't want you to 100% go on the first day. I don't want you to get injured. I don't want you to get demotivated, and I don't want you to get out of the game. Think about long-term plan for your own good. That's it. I hope you guys learned something, and stay tuned for more videos like this. And if you have any topics that you want me to cover, you just let me know in the comments, and I guess I will see you guys soon. Bye bye.